And shut off your cell phones and let's do the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have, there was a deletion because we acted on the ratification yesterday. Have you, does the new agenda show that, Melanie? I haven't looked through it yet. I believe it does. Yes, it does. We have a class presentation that's a timed event today. And I would like to add, it's okay. I'd like to add, I don't know if commissioners had a chance to look at some of their emails, a bit of an update on railroad. On that part of it. The speaker. Pardon?
Your speakers need to be turned back on.
There.
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right. If you didn't hear me, I would like to add a short update on the railroad on that. So any other additions or deletions?
I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Have to talk up for me, I'm sorry.
I wasn't paying. Did you get the Gearhart Jim is carrying forward?
Yes, Gearhart Jim, yes.
Sorry, I was messing with the microphones.
Yep, that is, thank you for catching that. We talked before meeting, but. Okay, with that, public comment.
Thank you for running the camera for me yesterday.
You're very welcome.
I appreciate it.
We run a very efficient ship here, and we are always happy to help out the examiner.
Oh. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Remember that.
I got it on tape, so we're good.
I knew I started the day off wrong. It's going to be tough to be chairman today, maybe with these two. 3. I'm sorry I left you out, Melanie. All right.
I'm glad to be left out of that.
Our, no public comment other than that. Let's go ahead. Why don't we just get the addition of the Gearhart Gym? Let's just rock through that, get that done. Just a little update from me because I was a commissioner. The request came in yesterday to see if we could relieve some of the cost for the landfill expense for Gearhart Gym. Gearhart Gym Community Action Team. It's in Klamath County. That's just across the line. I don't have no real heartburn with that. I don't think that we want to start going down the path of not allowing people to dump for free. So that's my personal opinion. I did phone because sort of a challenge came out yesterday from me and all 3 of us towards Klamath County. I did phone Commissioner DeGrew and Commissioner Boyd. Commissioner Boyd called me back this morning, and I told him, I said, I anticipate we'll probably have some kind of motion or something on the table today. And if we do, I would challenge you guys to do something for Gearhart Gym also. And he said, Brad, I can't do anything till next Tuesday, but we will definitely look at it. So he can't, he's like us, he can't commit to any one thing, but they're very passionate about their communities too. So with that said, so I gave my spiel. Let both of you know I did follow up with the commissioners, and I told Commissioner Boyd this morning to tell Commissioner DeGrew no need to call. Just to let you know, they have the same challenges over there. They don't waive their landfill fees. They have for the Boy Scouts on shipping Christmas trees. It seems like they allow them to do that for the Boy Scouts because of chipping the trees. It's basically a wash if they do that. But as far as actual landfill, they haven't said. They try to do the same as what I said there. So just to throw that out to you guys. With that, if there's any other discussion or motion or a thought.
Well, I totally agree with you that I think it would open up a can of worms if we start reducing land fees for anybody. Or not charging them at all. And so, this is all volunteer work. They're rebuilding that, or restoring the gym. And we know that a lot of people live here and vice versa. I think it's a good thing, so I'd like to make a motion that we donate $500 to the Y Gym fund, the community center, the Gearhart Gym, and whatever it's considered, and donate $500 from our video lottery funds. That's awesome.
I would second that motion if that is possible.
Motion's been made to seconded, further discussion. I believe, that's exactly where I was going. Thank you for the motion. I believe within the guidelines of the video lottery dollars based around economic development, based around education and that, I believe you've chosen a wise place based around that we utilize that through the fire. It's not, we don't utilize it ourselves, but our community benefits from it because of, like last year, I can't remember if you were there, I think you were as busy as your other job, but they had the updates when there's a fire that's inclusive of both Klamath and Lake County and the state and the county and all these things. So contributing to something that is a benefit for the health of our forests, the health of our communities, I believe it fits. I would say have Melanie double check on that, and if not, then I'm willing, I know I will come in under travel, and I believe you guys will come under travel, we can take it out of the commissioner's side.
We can
So
definitely.
that would be my suggestion for a backup plan.
Okay, sounds good.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries with a challenge to Klamath County to fund more, double what we did.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, that was a good thing to do. Our next item is IGA 14285, Oregon Youth Authority, Lake County. Jake said he would not be here today, so any more overview? This is biennium dollars. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if there's any more needs to be talked about. I have no more. If you guys are good with it after Jake's presentation, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept IGA number 11078, the Lake County Department of Education Youth Development Council. Is that the one?
I believe you got the wrong number.
Oh, sorry. Pardon me.
Oregon Youth Authority.
Pardon me. I grabbed the
We
wrong
scratched that other one, that was ratification, but
Yeah.
we can do it twice if you want.
No.
one. No, sorry, I didn't mark it when I had it done, sorry.
This is the,
So I make a motion to accept the IGA number 14285, Oregon Youth Authority in Lake County.
I will second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept IGA 14285, Oregon Youth Authority in Lake County. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item we have is alert since action consideration. I was not able to pull down the email from Daniel, but I know Commissioner Albertson, you was sort of the lead on this. Was you able to get things by
Yeah.
legal counsel?
Yeah, and I ran it past Jim Bailey. He says the contract looks fine. He said that we should probably only do it for 1 year, otherwise we go over our $5,000 limit, where we have to do a RFQ. So, and I kind of was leaning that way anyways, because we'll see how it operates for the first year. Maybe we can get more partners on board, and then next year we can do the 3-year or the 5-year.
Now, my understanding is that we can actually only go with this, and we don't have to put it out for competitive bidding, as long as these are the only ones that can provide this service. Is this, and
Right, but the service, the Spanish part
like
of
the
it,
Spanish part of it, yes, that's where I was
the
going.
Spanish part of it isn't required yet. And so if it's not a requirement, then we still have to. If they required Spanish speaking on our deal, then since they're the only ones that provide that, we wouldn't have to. But since it's not a requirement yet, we would have to. So
But
it's still,
It's under the $5,000.
yes, it's under
But it is under
$5,000.
Okay.
And so I'll make a motion to accept, let's see, what are they called? Alert Sense, alert system for 1 year with a fiscal impact of $4,700.
I'll second that motion, sir.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the contract, 1 year with AlertSense, $4,700. Discussion. I know that you're working on this, Commissioner, where the money will come from. We already do have a partner for a third, and so I would just like to note that, that you're working on where the funding's going to come from, and the partners is going to be there, and the cost may not, we know it's not going to be a total $4,700 to the county, but it'll be a contractual agreement with the county.
And we haven't heard back from Stephen Brown yet.
Yes.
As to,
So it's work in progress, but appreciate your work on it, but just like to note that,
The hospital is paying 1/3, and then we're gonna try to get, Steve Brown and,
we have options. Hospital is on there, but we've got schools, town of Lakeview, state, all these, so you're the lead. Just wanted to note that in the thing, that there's a lot of options to make this a great service for our whole community. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Next we have, and you ladies are here for the class, I'm assuming. You're at 10:30 timed item. So, IES, communications update action consideration is our next item. And we went over that yesterday with Melanie. Any further discussion needed on that?
none for me.
This was a fiscal impact of $23,571.29, which is relatively almost $100,000 savings compared to last time that we upgraded and started this system. And so we haven't done a really good job setting reserves aside. That Melanie's worked really hard to find funds from a couple of departments plus her own to make this happen. And I don't mean to speak for you, Melanie, but that's what I'm remembering from yesterday.
and you've been able to, you think you'll be able to find most of these funds within your own department, within those departments that you can
Yeah,
scrape together for this?
I don't anticipate going into contingency, but I
Okay.
appreciate the
Yeah, because,
opportunity if needed, but it should
Yeah.
be fun and we should absorb it.
because I think there was a consensus from the board yesterday, or that is there if needed. But if you're able to do it within those departments, that's awesome. So,
Yeah, and I think you heard from all of us yesterday. I did most of the talking, but you heard from us yesterday that if this push funds to the max, that contingency is a place that we consider going.
Awesome.
So, it would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept this, the new IES purchase for a fiscal impact of $23,571.29.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the proposal for IES fiscal impact, $23,571.29. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Bit Defender is our next one. Let's get to that one. Do we need some overview or any overview on that? Melanie done a really good job.
That's the
Yeah.
beefed up firewall.
Correct, and this is going to be installed on all 81 different users' computers. Can this be done remotely, or is this something that has to be done in each one of these offices?
It can be done remotely.
Correct.
Mhm.
And the 600 is a one-time charge.
One time, and then there'll be an annual charge after that, but
So we'll be seeing that every year during budget time, that costing, that, it's part of doing business. This is good liability
Yeah.
insurance, this is important.
Because of all the incidences that we've had just in a very short amount of time, I think this is probably actually a pretty good rate.
Yeah, I don't think we can afford not to.
So entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Bitdefender antivirus, malware, and management and installation.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the Bitdefender's antivirus, malware, and management and installation. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion carries. We have, Darwin, if you need to get out here, I can vary from
Yep,
the
all I need
agenda.
is a couple signatures.
Okay, you're here, are you on the right
No,
way?
it's for something else, so,
What is it you're here for?
existing stuff from the hearings last week. Just to sign.
Pardon me?
Just the appeal hearings, just to sign the actual decisions.
Okay, so this wasn't on the agenda?
No,
this
it's
is
just something separate, it doesn't need board to review, it's just like, if I caught you in the office, I would've had to sign it, so.
You want us to sign that real fast, is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
I
Because
need
it's
to mail
time
those out today.
sensitive,
Yeah, I need to mail.
so we're gonna do it.
That's perfectly fine.
Let's sign this, guys.
I don't mean to interrupt your meeting.
Oh, you do. Oh, yes, you do.
But it's perfectly fine.
Is it just for me as chair?
Yeah, just as chair.
I'll sign and I'll put all the responsibility on the other two commissioners. Is that what I get to do?
No, that's the good thing about you signing it.
Yeah,
You guys get the chance to blame it all on me, correct?
correct.
So Darwin, just being we're doing this in a meeting, has to do with the appeal hearing we had last week. And this is getting the final documentation to the state of Oregon, correct?
Yep, and all parties of interest.
I didn't date that, would you make sure? to put the
All
date?
50 of them.
Would you make sure to date it, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, Darwin.
Thanks.
All right, back to our agenda. We have the juvenile vehicle purchase. Melanie, I think you want to give a little bit more overview and make a recommendation to the Board of
Yeah.
Commissioners.
Speaker smell.
It messes your guys' up. Okay, so after our good discussion yesterday, I want to change my recommendation to go with Robertson Ford in Bend. The fiscal impact will be $31,056.92. Robertson is not only the lowest bid, but they can provide bucket seats and a center console in the front, along with vinyl interior. And then if the department decides to spray the bed, it's cheaper as well.
Okay. Thank you for putting the extra work in, and thank you to the board for having good discussion yesterday.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yep, no, I think we definitely made, that discussion really helped make this decision a lot easier.
So would entertain a motion.
I will make the motion to accept the bid from Robinson for a fiscal impact of, I want to make sure I had that right in front of me, for $31,056.92.
One second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the bid from Robertson Ford, total impact $31,056.92. And note that if they were going to do the spray and liner, that's completely separate from this.
Correct.
It's not part of the capital.
That's not, that's just the department head's decision on whether or not he wants to do that. But that's worked out of his own budget, so.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. Sand City Lodge OLCC, we had a little discussion about that yesterday. The sheriff has looked at this, doesn't see any objections, so we entertain a motion to accept that OLCC.
I'll make a motion to accept the liquor license for Sand City Lodge Incorporated.
I will accept that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the liquor license application, Sand City Lodge LLC, Christmas Valley. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Melanie, make sure we mark that box that says granted.
Yeah.
Next item is OHA Second Amendment Public Health Fees. And this has come down from the state. Judy is not able to be here. This come down from the state. This is basically it's, I guess I could call it a mandate from the state coming down to us. And so would entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to accept this agreement from the OHA. It's going to impact public health and it will impact their fees. But we don't really have a choice in this regard, so.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the Oregon Health Authority intergovernmental agreement for environmental health services, adjustment of the fees. Any further discussion? Thank you, James, for checking into this, and in the future there may be options if we decide to push that direction.
Correct.
Appreciate that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Right-of-way easement agreement, New Sun. We have that. Our road official, roadmaster has looked at it. Melanie's done some work on it. And this did go by legal counsel. The only thing I question, and I apologize, I didn't follow up on it, but it does show a $10 cost. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we can charge $10. I think they fall into the same realm as any other utility, even though it's private. I think it's an outright allowance within our guidelines of where they place it. But that, I caught that late yesterday afternoon on the front page. That seemed odd to me.
I can follow up on that if you want.
Yeah, and so I apologize to the board. It was late just afternoon when I seen that. You see it there, James?
Yes, I do. I do see it there. I actually may have misread that, thinking that it was there for consideration.
Well, I guess
did not
for
understand that fully.
discussion, I checked several years ago trying to, where that this is private enterprise going down the rights of way to the counties, is that I thought we should be able to charge them and be able to have a little, get some money, and I was informed that we weren't able to charge. So when I seen that, even though it's $10, it's nothing for a right-of-way easement. But if it opens the door for us to charge them, then maybe we renegotiate that $10. I guess you guys know where I'm going.
Correct. I know
Yes,
exactly
no,
where you're going with
So,
that.
for discussion, refresh my mind, we charged Obsidian $1 for a right-of-way, didn't we? For a transmission easement right-of-way? For that land?
On our own land.
Yeah, it was our own land though.
Yeah, this,
Is that way?
and this would be considered our own land in the road right of way, but utilities have a right, even though this isn't a public
Okay.
utility, they have a right to come down our road right of way, so it's a little bit different than going across our own property
Okay,
land. Correct.
okay.
So, I think if we table this to have that discussion, I don't think it's gonna be the end of the world.
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I
think we'd like to
I
have-
figured you'd like to check.
I'd like
into it.
to go and have some further discussion on this issue, especially in regards to that fee.
And I thought you'd want to talk with the roadmaster a little bit.
Absolutely.
So if the board's willing, let's table that to our next meeting. Good, all right. Sorry I brought that up last minute. So railroad, that's my addition for today. If you guys haven't had a chance, you've been tagged on emails from our operator and going to also for Red Rock and different ones. So what we have is we've been awarded the Christie grant, as you guys are very well aware. It has quite a match. What we're really working on, inclusive of you guys lobbying the state of Oregon to try to get some match, 3.1 million. And then we have the other match out there that was proposed during the application. Really great, we got awarded this 5.6. Now we have to get the match. And so we have to get a project manager right away. We've been in this discussion myself with Toby, and there's a bit of a disconnect. It's our grant. Figured that they'd get the project manager, and every day we're basically somewhat losing monies in match. So just this morning, this all sort of materialized after I guess you'd call it a direct phone call last night that left as a message from me to one of the parties. What I'm setting up is I have Ann and Dave as part of the team. Dave is the department head, obviously. We're going to start weekly update meetings. They're checking right now on short-term, try to find a project manager. What firm would be best to do the categorical exclusion for the railroad because of the NEPA process? We're going to try for the categorical exclusion, and then we could sign some papers. Everything from then on would be considered towards match. So that's what I'm working on to bring you guys into the loop. Definitely doing it as a team with the people with expertise, Ann and Dave. So I'm setting up those meetings.
Are those meetings going to be held with Kevin Mannix and others, or?
Kevin Mannix, the shipping group. The first meeting, I'm going to try to pull together local shippers, local operator, and the key people, and we're going to have that discussion, who needs to be at the table that can be productive on these weekly update calls. The main thing that I need from the board right now is the railroad fund does have little to no money in it. So to hire a short term to get the process rolling, I have to have a place to go for the monies. And so I have three options. I'd like to have consensus of the board for support. It would be, these are the three options to go to a little bit of money that is allowable. You got the video lottery dollars, which economic development on and on, it fits. We have the community development grant / loan that we can do monies out of, and we have industrial park monies, which all fit. And if you guys agree for us to look for that project manager for the short term of, we have to get this categorical exclusion done, and this is going to be this amount, get that going so that our match money start counting, and then we go out for an RFP for a project manager for the whole thing. But we have to get that. Just to be straight honest, Goose Lake Rail, their shipping numbers are way down right now. So them and through contractually, they're not obligated to it, but they are a player, and they will probably step up some too. But I've got to get this going. We've got to get this going, and I need the support there. So by consensus, if you guys would say go ahead, and that's okay for us to look at monies from there, and then we get this project manager going. And I really encourage you to talk to Dave and Ann individually. The uniqueness of being a board of commissioners, you have to do everything in a public meeting. But that's, as you start reading those emails, that's what we got to do. Okay, and so that's the three places. Which one we would go to first and name, I would rely on working with our budget officer of what's the best one's not going to deplete any one of them. And if it's cost prohibitive, we wouldn't go there.
Okay.
So
I would be perfectly fine with if there are resources in the lottery dollars and other places that we can pull funds together to get the person we need to be a point person on this project. I'm perfectly fine with that. I think it would be nice though within the next week or maybe 2 weeks if we could pull Ann and Dave and you and all of us will have a actual public meeting on this subject to where we can all be involved and at least kind of where this is going.
Well,
And so that when it comes to the point where we need to hire a project manager, that we're at least all up to speed on exactly where we need to go.
And I would ask that you would indulge, and let me get through that first. I'm setting up that weekly meeting for Thursdays, and first one gonna be next Thursday at 8. Let me get that and get through some of these things right now, and then have that public meeting to bring them, all three of us up to speed of what, as a group, what we're looking at getting done. And is that
And
acceptable?
within a couple weeks, if that's your time frame, I mean, obviously it sounds sooner rather than later is what you're looking for.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
if we can,
We've been waiting patiently, thinking one way, and it's time, it's gotta happen.
yeah.
We're losing money.
But when we put out for the RFP for that position, I would like to make sure that all of us have all the information in front of us, that we know what kind of RFP we're actually looking for. And then, of course, the interview process and everything else, so when we actually find this person.
Yep, and we need every voice towards the legislature in this short session.
Correct. And I understand Betsy Johnson has been very supportive of
Yep.
us trying to get additional dollars.
We have a great connection with her. Our real connection with her is through Toby. They've sat on a couple
Yes.
of transportation things together. If you have any relationships, Coos Bay, but, you know, we've had the shipping group here. That is the connection, believe it or not, with our rail line in the future of getting to a deep port. So if you have any connections with legislative people in that part of Oregon, a voice from there is great. So, correct. Anyway. So I am asking for a consensus of the board for us to look at those funds and for a short-term person to get them, I'm calling notice to proceed, but that's not what it's called. I can't remember off the top of my head. But we have to get that in with FRA sooner than later.
I think you have a consensus from myself, or you have from myself, I only speak for myself, Mark, you can speak for yourself. I think I'm perfectly fine with you looking into the use of those dollars.
Okay.
But before those dollars are spent, obviously, I feel like I definitely want to have a meeting with all of us.
Okay, so we're talking two different things. I'm on consensus for the short term, just get it done. I mean, we gotta get it done like.
I know, but you can't
Yes, sir.
spend those dollars until the RFP and you
No,
hire the
RFP would be for a full-blown project manager. This would be a short-term under.
You're looking for a short-term individual.
We have to get this.
So you're asking for two positions.
I'm talking two different things. We have a
Interim.
short-term,
Interim.
that we go to these funds for the short term to get this signed so that match dollars start counting. And then, once we get that signed and hopefully get a categorical exclusion from the NEPA, then we'll take a breath and we do a full-blown RFP for a project manager for the whole project. And then that's whenever we're gonna have to, we'll find out what the cost is for a full-blown RFP, all that, and where we go for those dollars. Okay. So I hope I explained that correctly.
Yeah.
I'm asking for authority for Ann and Dave to go ahead and spend some of those dollars for a short term.
For a short-term position.
Yep.
Okay.
You got my
You have my support.
All right, thank you guys for the support. And please talk to Dave and Ann.
Oh, we will.
I know you will. All right, thank you for that. And so ran over just a little bit. We have our 10:30 line item, which is a presentation from class. And welcome, ladies. We can bring another chair up. Just grab another chair there, pull it up. And,
Misty?
Yes, I'm Misty Scott, I'm the homeless prevention manager for class, and then I'm Kenzie Rivera, I'm the office manager for class.
Pleasure to have you here.
yeah, and go right ahead. Looks like you have some materials for us, probably.
So I printed out the whole master grant agreement. This is for funding for Conneaut and Lake County for the emergency solutions grant. So I have quite a few grants that I work with for the homeless prevention, but the ones that I need from the commissioners is for ESG, which is the emergency solutions, and that would help people with, that are homeless to assist with deposits, rent arrears, moving costs or anything like that, or supporting security deposits for Common Housing Authority, and coming in, or helping sustain them for a couple of months, up to 4 months while they look for a job or more supportive services, so that that's not hanging over their head of, you know, how am I gonna pay next month's rent when I just lost my job and, you know, stuff like that. So let's help them remove those barriers. One of this is the ESG grant needs for county commissioners from Lake and Cloud County for the ESG grant every biennium. So this is my first time doing all of this, so it's new to me. So I did bring, I think I've emailed all of this, but I did bring one copy, so you might have to make copies of the whole grant. So it's got all of my grants in here. And then the affirmation outreach and marketing plan that goes with the ESG grant for that. And so I did print all of that. I might have emailed you guys that, but I brought that for you guys. And then this would be the grant to be funded, right?
So you have your own governing board now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Klamath Lake many years ago, we're no longer governing board, so I guess I'm trying to remember if we had signed these as a county in the past, and Commissioner Kestner sitting back there.
He is on our board. Ken is.
Okay, so by the county signing this, what does this obligate us to? Does the grant come through us?
No, it comes through class, and it's just basically me making sure that I am funding both sides, Klamath and Lake County. So we're actually in the starts of recruiting for a Lake County liaison that will work for full-time in Lake County. So they'll be trained in all of our programs. So they'll help back me in homeless prevention, also energy assistance in all of our programs. So they'll work full-time here out of the senior center, and they'll always be here, you know. So it's back building that relationship with Lake County, which we failed for a long time. And so it's just getting back on board and doing what we've been meant to be doing for a long time.
So can you kind of give us a background of what class is all about?
Class is a community action agency, so right now,
For
we're
Klamath
in,
and Lake County, correct?
yep, Klamath and Lake County. So we assist with, my program is homeless prevention, so we assist with like a security deposit, rent arrears. We're actually carrying people for a couple of years for rent assistance that are really low income, and that's for Klamath and Lake County. And then we also have our energy assistance, where we have quite a few grants for life and OEA to come in and assist with energy funds. We have a rep payee program right now also that will assist with people who are have rep payees that need those, and so we help budget their income and help them with that. Other programs.
Family Support Connections.
Family Support Connections right now. Those guys are here all the time. They do great work up here. And so they do house visits and, you know, pretty much babysit with the families, you know, of what they need, you know, whether it's house cleaning or showing them, you know, how to sort laundry.
And this is
whatever.
who? This is the Klamath Housing Authority?
No, that's Family Support and Connections.
Family
the
Support and
class.
Connections.
Yeah, and they're up here the third Thursday of every month at the DHS building, working with Michelle Totten and all of them. So that's where I get most of my referrals from, is DHS and Michelle.
Sure, I'll go down the move. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
So we'll just come together and just support these families as much as possible. That's just one of my grants, and that's one's a small one. I use all the other ones too. That one's emergency solutions. I don't know how class has done it before, but they should have been getting these signatures every 2 years.
So, I know myself, I believe other commissioners may have got calls from Klamath County because of, have they signed yet?
They have not. I just met with them 2 weeks ago, and I sent them an email yesterday because they've been asking me for more forms and more forms, so I made sure I brought everything that they asked me for.
So,
Here.
and I did not, I don't believe anybody else had sent this to when we act on things, we have legal counsel review and all
Yeah.
that. At the top, it says, as named below and duly authorized to act on behalf of the identified jurisdiction. And that, as the commissioner says, whoa, we're not the governing board, we're not acting on behalf of class. If this is like a pass-through grant, or if this is, it sounds like you may have found out this is something that's supposed to have been done in the past. So I don't want to speak for the whole board, but I think our legal counsel has to look at that and our
Yeah,
exposure as signing something where it says we're acting on behalf of the identified jurisdiction. We want to get those funds into Lake County, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We want services here. But now I'm just thinking of a procedural way, and one
Yeah,
commissioner
and
in
that's
Pima
the
County
form
was
that the
asking me
state
about
gave
it.
me to send to you guys, so that's what I have.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and I don't want to speak for you guys, but that's,
Well,
I think you've done a little work on it, Commissioner Williams.
yeah, I've been over to class, I sat down with Christy, and, is it Christy or Christine?
Christina.
Christina, yes, I'm horrible with names. Sat down with her and talked to her, and we were working on the point in time count, because it was missing,
Yep.
and no one
I
could
found
find
it.
it. Well, according to old records, there were 3 people that were homeless in Lake County, and everyone in Lake County was freaking out, because we all knew that wasn't true.
Yep.
And if it was, then someone better get on the news with Fox News and CNN and let them know that we solved homelessness in Lake County.
Right? I say our count Christmas Valley,
We're gonna give-
was
we're
higher
gonna
than
give you
that.
full credit for
Yeah.
that, James.
That's
And
perfectly
we didn't
fine.
count Christmas Valley, the 2 of us, so. you know that.
No, I live in Summer Lake, I'm right in between the center of this county, I can go both ways, you know, and I've seen this
Yeah.
whole, it's not realistic. And we do have an issue here, and we've just recently, the other day, we actually kind of, or I kind of got into an issue with the Klamath Housing Authority where they refused to give us help on a number of issues, and actually just didn't even want to return phone calls and said that we're too busy, we don't have time to talk to you. And I'm going on the record saying that if they want to work in Lake County, we would prefer them to actually be in Lake County. And I'm kind of disappointed with the Housing Authority's response to how they, kind of push Lake County to the side. And
They just reached out to me yesterday to start doing the inspections for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the commons in Aspen Court, because they don't have anybody over here to do those. So, I'm either gonna have my liaison train on doing them, or I'll be up getting those done for that.
Okay. Yes, I think that's kind of where we are, suddenly having this piece of paper that we're supposed to sign,
Yeah.
where we're duly authorized to act on behalf of the identified jurisdiction. And we're not the governing body, and for so many years now, and I mean, 2 of us are relatively new, we've only been on this job about 8 months, and we're trying to sort our way through all this. And there hasn't been a presence here for the Climate Housing Authority, there hasn't been a presence here from class. The point in time count, we still think is inaccurate, we
It is.
still think it's higher,
It is.
and Lake County just hasn't been provided the services in the past. We want class here, and like my fellow commissioner said, we want those services here. We want to make sure that our people are getting those services. But we are going to have to run this past legal counsel and get a proper response before we can sign it.
And maybe come
How
together on
time-
how the pay
what's-
counts can work
How time
better.
sensitive and what, yeah.
That was my fault.
I'm sorry, no, go for
My
it.
funding is held up until I get this back, so the
wow.
state's been waiting.
But it's not in jeopardy of losing it.
It's not
just
losing it, but they will not give it to me, so I'm just waiting on
Wow.
this doc from Lake County and
So
Clinton County,
what,
and I
what
don't.
state organization is requiring this from you?
OHCS, who I get my funding from.
And that's where, how you guys have completely funded?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, I believe you guys are going through some reorganization yourself.
Yes, we
So,
are.
so probably enough said.
We have survived, so.
And so, I know Commissioner Williams has been doing some work on this, and I think you will see some follow up on this real fast. We're not going to have it today, but,
We've also brought some new resource guides that we've updated, and so if you guys see anything or anything that Lake County needs to be updated in here, that there's other resources that you guys need added into this guide, let us know so that we can get it accurate and updated so that all of Lake County's resources are in here.
okay, and how close are you working with our community center, our senior center?
We're on this, we're building it up. We're actually on our way after this to UCAN. So we're making our presence known at UCAN every meeting. So Christina was here the last one, and then to the west.
And what time is that?
At 11:30.
Okay, and how long does that go?
12 to 1.
12 to 1? Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be over there today. Part of it is like 2 weeks today.
You know, that's where it just fits for a lot of resources to be, people come forward to get resources and everything, so making that relationship with their community / senior center is very important.
Yeah, and if you know anybody that's interested in this position, you know, we're going to help for 3 more weeks. Because we just got it in the papers, and the free paper, because it wasn't posted in there, and then we were noticing we were only getting client applicants, and we really want somebody from Lake County over here that would apply for that, so that we have a.
So, and I haven't looked at any, is it a part-time?
It's full-time.
Full-time?
Full-time position.
I would encourage you to have a discussion with the senior center if it's something that could be a complement of what they do already.
And the newspaper.
Yeah, but it's in the newspaper.
Oh.
We just got it over there.
So, thank you, ladies. Did you have anything else or any other questions
No, I will
from the
leave the
board?
master grant agreement with you guys now.
Okay.
Thank you. And do you guys have to take off to Klamath directly after the UCAN meeting?
No.
I'd love to touch base with you if I can.
Okay.
Can I give you guys my card?
Yes. And then just call you when we're done?
Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great.
And do you want us to do these somewhere or with you guys?
With Melanie, and she's our right-hand person as administrative assistant to.
Excellent.
All right, thank you guys so much for your time.
Just a second, Commissioner Kestner, I apologize, did you have anything to add or?
No.
Okay.
No, he was just.
Except that class has been, or is being rejuvenated with the emphasis of getting services, well, my emphasis, sitting on the board, is to get services from here. And thanks to these ladies just coming.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Yeah. All right. That's back on the agenda. Did we, was there any legal updates? Jim wasn't available for today,
He has no legal updates.
and so there was nothing there.
Jim is actually going to be out of the office until 1,
Yeah.
or even 3 today, so.
Anything else to come before us? I have nothing else. I think I covered it all. That's a first.
Did great.
You know, it's a first that I didn't miss something. You didn't have to correct me. Easy. No. The person furthest to my right isn't going to say something. I would like to publicly thank both of you guys for the support on this railroad and working on that. It very fast materialized this morning. I was meeting with Ann and Dave, and so I usually don't spring things right in the middle of a meeting like that. The support, the consensus is greatly appreciated from the health of our community, so thank you guys. So with that, we will adjourn at 11 minutes to 11.